Hiki hikitia, ria ria kina. Hapa hapa inga, rangatahi. Te hoku take take o tōku awahakanga. Mauri tu, mauri tangata, tihei mauri ora.
Kia ora, we're on He Tangata. My name is Hira.
And I'm Tata.
And we're here with Hamiora Gibson, also known as Sam the Trap Man, Uncle Hear Me, all of these things. Uncle Hear Me?
Hami's good, yeah.
Uncle Hami, yep, sorry. Welcome to He Tangata, how you been?
Oh, living the dream, eh? Thanks for having me on, the show's awesome.
Yeah, no, more than welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was raised here on the banks of the Hamangatua stream, just out on the coast here. Tairāwhiti led through and through, both my folks are from here, the Gibsons and the Viti whānau. But I was born in England. I interrupted their OE. So I was born over
nice
there.
Nice surprise.
I like to think it's a nice surprise. I'm not sure how they felt at the time, but I'm here and they brought me back when I was 10 weeks old. And I was raised here. Amazing parents. My dad built us a beautiful wooden house on the Hamangatua. We had big ngāhere and paddocks around us, chickens, vegetable gardens, all of that. So we had an incredible upbringing here in Tairāwhiti. And then I got into conservation. Oh, some chickens got killed by a stoat one day. My chickens got killed by stoats.
Yep.
And
wow.
That really affected me.
How old were you?
I would have been 7 or 8.
Wow.
And at that time I was like, oh no, these stoats. And it introduced me to trapping. And I really haven't looked back. Now I'm a conservationist, been trapping in Fiordland, Te Urewera, Ruahine, internationally as well. Came back to Tairāwhiti because that's the place I want to look after.
Awesome. Yeah, that leads us into Eastern Field Link and a bit about the mahi you do there. So you wear many hats, bro. Eastern Field Link is one of them. We're going to watch a little video.
Eastern Field Link is a hunter-led project, it's a fisherman-led project, and it's a mana whenua-led project. But essentially, we just got together as a group of hunters. We'd watched our kiwi slowly disappear and our whio, our blue ducks slowly disappear over time, and we were quite scared by that because we love to see them in the bush. And we'd waited for a long time for Doc to hopefully do something about it. And Doc just kept getting their budget slashed left, right and centre. And our little piece of paradise wasn't a priority for them. So we just decided it's our bush, we're the ones in here every week, we better do something about it. So got together as a group of people and we put our first 250 traps on the ground, and we had 4 pairs of blue ducks, our whio left, and in the first season we killed enough stoats for them to successfully breed 20 young whio. So that safeguarded the population. Those whio have fledged into the surrounding streams, and our whio, they're not going to collapse anytime soon. So that job's been done, which is massive. We probably limited ourselves with the name Field Link because now we found kiwi in there. We're putting traps around those, and those guys are breeding. We found bats, we found Rokubita tusked weta, we found little endemic frogs with no eardrums. We found all sorts of creatures, eh? That's why we do it. And so the small hunter-led conservation project that started with 7 of us has grown into a huge project with over 80 active volunteers. We just got given $700,000 from the government to employ some of our hunters on the block to do the trapping. So yeah, it's just gone from strength to strength really, and we're just out there living the dream. It's not just trapping, it's not just conservation. Like, we're massive that whenever we're out on the block, you've got your gun, you've got your fishing rod, you've got your dogs. It's definitely providing, like, harvesting food is a big part of the project. That makinga kai practice, understanding what's edible and not edible, that's just as much of the project as the conservation element is.
Cool, awesome, bro. Yeah, leading on from the story you told us about, you know, what got you into that mahi, like you're doing it, and that's mean.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate, you know. This is what I wanted to do as a young person, and I've had the right people open doors, and I've made sure I've worked, like, given 100% for every opportunity I've been given, and I mean, I've been really fortunate to land on my feet and be able to do this, yeah.
Me. So Eastern Field Link, what's happening now at the moment?
So we've got over 1,000 traps.
Whoa.
The first season we bred 20 ducklings off of 4 pairs, which is pretty good, and second season 26, and this year we're hoping to hit the 50-something mark, which would be exciting. So right now we've successfully stabilised that field population. We're now working on kiwi, looking after kiwi. We've just been given 100 more traps, and we're putting them in really accessible rivers, which means that they're great trap lines for our young people, our schools to come out and experiencing trapping, experience the ngahere, meet the field, eat some of that kai from the ngahere that we talked about in the video. And yeah, that's the future of Eastern Field Link, is not just being a conservation project. It's a conservation project that is focused on growing our community, bringing our community out into the ngahere, because we know often our people, when we're on our phones all day, there's a certain element of anxiety and stress associated with that. And if we can get out to the ngahere every now and then, it brings us into a more relaxed state. So using it as an education tool, good place for us to harvest kai and pass on how to harvest those traditional species that were passed down to us, but not everyone knows about.
Yeah, I didn't know much about field blue duck, and I didn't even know. I seen a blue goat before, but I don't think people were saying it's not blue. I thought it was blue. But we have some really beautiful indigenous species in our country, and with the introduced stuff there at risk, eh?
Absolutely, you know, and it's up to us, you know. The Department of Conservation don't have enough resources to be able to look after it all. So it's up to us as individuals, us as groups of mates, and schools, etc., to look after the pieces we care about. You know, if we all get together as a group of mates or families and look after the place that we care about, it's gonna do pretty well.
It's layers and layers, eh? Like there's the kai aspect, and there's the getting out into the ngahere aspect, and then whānau and friends. Like it's beautiful. Yeah, but the rain's been a bit of a challenge for everyone lately. How's it affected your guys' mahi?
We've had a horrendous winter, eh? It's been rain and snow, and a lot of our roads, because we work in the backcountry, a lot of our roads have had slips come over them. Some entire roads have been pushed away. Some blocks we've actually got to walk into now rather than drive into. But for the field particularly, it's tough, because field nest right down in the river, in the overhangs of the river, and they'll nest in hollow logs and log jams and rock crevices. And so for the field that are nesting now, it's a tough time when it's flooding, because the floods just come through and wash away their nests.
Wow.
So they get an opportunity to nest again, a second nest, but if there's 2 floods, they really struggle. So we're just hoping to take enough stoats out of the system that in that second nesting, they get their chicks away and they're happy as. But most of our birds now are figuring out not to nest in the main river. They pop up those little side creeks that are a little bit more protected from those floods. So they're getting smart. They're getting smart with this global warming, you know.
They feel the changes, and they're trying to adapt.
Absolutely. It's really quite cool to see adaptation happen over time in a quick period of time.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to ask this question, Val? No. You can do it. Tairāwhiti East Coast Catchments Coordinator.
Yeah.
So that's another hat that you wear, my bro. Can you tell us what that is? Because I don't know what that is.
Cool. So I work for an organisation called New Zealand Land Care Trust. And I'm tasked with working with farmers and foresters and Tāngata whenua groups, you know, our Māori trust blocks, focused on on-farm biodiversity and water quality. So I run a whole bunch of events, I also support a whole bunch of projects, and you know, that may be helping them establish predator control operations, it may be helping them monitor the streams. We've been working with eDNA lately, have you heard of that?
eDNA.
It's a type of sampling where you can put a sample into a stream and it picks up all the DNA that's being flushed down that stream, so you can tell what species are in that stream.
And in the area surrounding it as well.
That's right.
Wow.
So it gives you a bit of a census of what's there, the positive things, the beautiful native biodiversity in our waterways and on land, because all the DNA from the land flushes into the river too.
Yeah.
And it also tells us what threats are present.
Wow.
So it gives us the information we need to be able to make good management decisions.
Is it quite accurate?
It's getting more accurate,
Wow.
but what it's good at is picking up on certain things, and then you have the information, that's there.
Yeah.
I can implement a tool to be able to deal with that situation. So.
And it's probably a little different at different parts of the river as well, maybe, and you might be able to identify where certain things are.
Absolutely. So if we take a sample downstream, you know, we're capturing everything upstream. However, if we find something there, maybe it's an invasive weed or an invasive fish species. If it's an invasive weed, we might choose to sample upstream and identify where exactly that's coming in from the catchment, so we can deal with it. You know?
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like it's really up your alley and what you want to do.
Yeah, sorry, I just get real nerdy on things. Get real into it, eh?
Oh man, it's
I
passion,
love the
bro.
tile.
Yeah, the tile. Man, we all need to love the tile.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that kind of leads us into your social media presence as well, and how you engage with our community. So Sam the Trap Man, another one of the hats that you wear, bro. What inspired you to start sharing your mahi?
It's not something that I wanted to do. You know, the generations above us were typically, you had to share our mahi and our whakaaro person to person. You know, that's how things were done. And we noticed that, my partner and I, we noticed that a lot of young people weren't getting out into the bush, so that knowledge wasn't being shared. And so we thought, well, where are they? And at that time, they were all on social media. At that time, it was Facebook and Instagram, and now we're jumping onto TikTok. And, you know, we wanted to share those things into those space so that we could
reach them,
you know, because if our young people care about the ngahere, they're going to look after it, which is great.
Whoa.
So we share things that are because we find people motivated by their puku a lot.
True.
So we share information around our traditional foods, all of our trees.
What was that video we watched?
Of a lemon tree.
Yeah.
The tarata.
Yeah, the Tata.
Yeah, our traditional chewing gum, eh?
Yeah.
So tarata, right? It just looks like a tree, and no one really cares about it until we go, oh, that's a chewing gum tree.
Yeah.
You know? So if we teach people about tarata gum and how it's tasty and it freshens your breath and all the different uses for it, then suddenly people feel like they've got a relationship with it, and next time they see tarata, they're not just going to whip it over with a chainsaw or, you know, like they start to respect it with its relationship to us. And I think that's the purpose of that social media, is just, I'm just trying to communicate, take the blindfolds off when we're dealing with different trees, and hopefully spark some people's connections with plants in our environments. Because we don't know until we know, and social media is such an easy, succinct, kind of accessible way of getting a little bit of knowledge, not enough to be dangerous, but enough to kind of be interested. So I just wanted to share the tiny little bit of things that we know, and I don't know anything about anything, but if it's useful to someone, then it's there. You know?
Yeah, and we see, I think it's your children as well on there. Like, how does it feel, you know, sharing this, but also being a dad as well? Like, how does that all mix in?
I've always wanted to be a dad, and I'm in a fortunate position to be able to raise my kids in the bush. I love that. It's so much fun. And we have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah.
That's how, that's how I was raised, and I just don't know any different really. But it's quite neat, and so in the social media space, a lot of other parents, dads and single mums, and they flick you a message and say, oh, it's, we're a little bit inspired to be able to take our kids out into the bush, or oh, we also raise our kids in the bush, or city kids are like, city parents are like, how do we do that? And I'm able to share a little bit of information or give them suggestions around different walks and stuff around them. And you know, it's quite fun to be able to be in that space and help other parents raise their kids with a relationship with the ngāhere also. I don't know, I froth on it, eh?
Yeah.
Kids are epic.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I bet they love it out there. I did a bit of work, film work, but we were filming in the bush.
Oh, cool.
And just being out in the bush, like, and I hadn't been out there in a while, like, we were 6 weeks out in the bush. It was just the fresh air, breathing it in was just so amazing. Like, the amount of the mahi we were doing, which was like pretty full on, like I didn't feel tired at all. I felt like so much energy because we were just, I don't know, drawing from the life force of the land, or just breathing the fresh air. And like, I don't know, just that, basically.
It does stimulate you, eh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And filming in the bush is fun, eh? Because it's real creative. There's so much going on. Finding those shots in such a complex environment.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
How are you able to mix the filming aspect into like just being in the bush?
Yeah.
How does that look?
So typically I'd just go real low budget.
Yeah.
We do the phones. We're there with our family. It'll be my wife and my kids and myself. We've done a couple of bigger deal things like the Wild Kai Legends episodes and a couple of other longer format YouTube things with professional videographers and that.
Sure.
What I find is it's difficult to find people like yourself that can keep up with the hunting or keep up with the trapping, etc., that pace, and still be an excellent videographer or an excellent soundie. So we've got some really skilled people in the country, and it's awesome to see folks like yourself that are capable in the bush being able to bring those videography skills through and those presenting skills through as well, you know, because it's hard to find, eh?
Yeah, hard to find both the balance, eh?
That's right. And people that have a passion and love for it and are literate in that space enough to be able to see the opportunities or to be able to understand what needs to be communicated in that space. Like, it's folks like yourself that we really need in that space, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, you almost have to be one with the bush. Like, you have to be, you're not just a videographer there to shoot something, you're like a part of it.
That's
you're
right.
Like trapping, and you're doing you're getting down and dirty, like, you're experiencing every part of it.
That's right.
That's epic.
And that comes through in people's watching experience, in my opinion.
Yeah. You feel the genuineness of it.
That's right.
Mean, bro. Sam the Trap Man. So yeah, just tying in all of your mahi that you do, bro, in conservation and looking after te taiao, what's your own personal kaupapa? Like, what are your guiding principles for your mahi?
I want our people to be connected with the whenua once more. I feel like for us to be well as people, we've got to have a relationship with the whenua. And for the ngāhere to be well, the ngāhere has to have a relationship with us. You know, that has to exist. And same with awa. We're past a point now in Aotearoa where we're past a point where we can leave it and it will come back to a place of balance. You know, we've brought, as people, we've brought so many external pressures into the taiao that it won't bring itself back to a balance that benefits us. And so for me, we need our relationship to be there, and we need to be part of that process of bringing it back to balance. And I don't know anything about lots of the taiao. I know about bringing balance to the ngāhere. And so that's where I choose to spend my time, and I team up with others that have other specialties, and but it's got to be, the future of Aotearoa does rely on us having a really strong relationship with our environments and our landscapes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't know anything about anything.
Nah, we're all students, eh, bro?
That's right. That's right.
At the mercy of the whenua,
That's
whether
right.
it's good or bad. Like.
That's right.
Maybe like, you know, global warming is a big challenge that everybody's kind of thinking about, and also like what we do with our wastewater and all of that kind of stuff. Like So in terms of protecting our ngahere and seeing it as building that relationship with it, like how does that fit in kind of fixing our planet?
I think for us, there's so many opportunities to get out in nature here, into our wild places. And as we've talked about, you know, when we do experience that, we realise that flows through all of our actions when we come back to town, or all of our actions when we come back to home. So, you know, because we start to care about the taiao and we can see those interrelationships, we then make those decisions at home. Oh, maybe, you know, maybe we're not going to do littering, or we're going to look after our biodiversity in our parks, or, you know, all of those things where our wastewater, we need to make some voting situations to get our actual structural pipe system changed at council. You know, if people have that relationship, then they're able to implement that at home, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, you know, it's so easy, especially in the cities and the towns in your own homes, to kind of not feel connected to the taiao and not feel like it's important or around us. But building that relationship, it's always on our mind, you know, we're thinking about it like what is my action here in the town or at home, how is this affecting the whenua?
Absolutely, and I'm a big believer that we mould to our environments. That's what's cool about what you guys are doing here at Rāngai. Like, we mould to our environment, so the situation that's around us, we start to become like that situation. So when we put our kids into a school, they start to mould to the culture of that school, right? When we go and spend time gaming, our mentality molds to that game that we're playing, which can be really cool. But when we spend time in the bush, we start to mould to the bush and start to make actions that fit. So yeah, I reckon that's cool. So I reckon it's a big thing, even the people we hang out with, our mates, we start to become more like the mates we hang out with. So it's just choosing where we spend our time and our space. I reckon that's a big challenge for us and our generations, you know.
I've been on, I don't spend as much time in the bush as I want to. I've been on bushwalks, hikes and stuff. Have you, Valour?
Yeah.
Do you like going?
I've been out to Waikato Moana.
Oh, hey.
Nice.
Did you do the up Panikere, Manga?
Yeah, I walked up there. Pretty steep walk, but it's a good walk.
Yeah, it's quite steep.
It's real steep, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful though, eh? Did you get a good view from up there?
Yeah, the main view.
Stunning, eh?
It's mighty. That's like the short word for it. It's just in your face. Like,
100%.
beautiful.
100%. No, it's incredible, Waikato Moana.
It's good to just, like you said, just be in the bush. Like any little amount that we can, we'll try to. Like it's enough.
That's right. That's right.
The fresh air is enough.
And you know, we've got Greys Bush and Okitu Scenic Reserve, and a whole lot of our parks have ngahere next to them. So hey, it's real easy. It's quite accessible.
Bit more closer to home too. Tairāwhiti. Awesome, bro. So how can we, us, Rāngai, but also our community, play our part in the kaupapa?
As you said, it's just about spending time. Like I'm doing lots of education things with school groups at the moment, where we're bringing classes out into the bush and we're walking with them, eating kai out of the bush, doing some traps, that sort of thing. So that's really good. There's a program I'm a part of, field-based STEMs, where teachers can access 40 hours of specialist time. So you can bring specialists into the classroom. The bug man, Rū Kleinpaste, he's a person on that program as well. So we can fly people in from all over the country to be part of our school groups as well. So I think that there's really cool opportunities to do things. If anyone wants to come and volunteer on the Eastern Field Link, we'd love to have them. There's plenty to do. Sometimes it's just a case of reaching out and seeing what it is. And we're always ears, you know. Lots of leaders in the taiao space in our community. Easy to go and sit underneath one of them for a little while, you know. Just like you guys are doing at Rāngai Studio, you know, sitting underneath really experienced production company. Yeah,
just being a sponge, eh? Accepting we know nothing and we want to learn.
And all of us are in that space, eh?
Yeah, that's the thing, on the same level.
That's right.
That's epic. Do you want to take
Do you have a hub or work-based site that's in the bush, or?
So I work in the bush a lot, and when I'm at home, I work from home because I get really distracted. I really like yarning with people, and so putting me in an office is terrible because I just get on the yarns and don't do the work. So I work from home, I lock myself away, I do all the behind-the-scenes work I need to do, and then I go bush, do our bush do the work that matters.
Work first, then hobby later.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Eish, mean, bro. So how can we get in touch?
So as you know, I'm on @SamTheTrapman, so Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now too.
Sam the Trapman.
It's just Sam the Trapman.
Easy.
Also, Eastern Field Link is just Eastern Field Link on all those platforms, and www.easternfieldlink.co.nz.
Nice.
The website.
We'll run it in our graphics along here.
Cool. And New Zealand Land Care Trust is the organisation I work for as well, and they're just on all those platforms and website as well.
Mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to keep up to date with what's going on.
I appreciate it.
And we touched on it a little bit, just are there any kind of opportunities coming up for rangatahi in region holiday programs or after school workshops?
Absolutely. So we run a whole stack of holiday programs, but also we run a whole bunch of programs where we get classes out of the bush. So as rangatahi, ask your teachers, get your teachers to flick us an email or flick us an email yourself. My email is just samthetrapman@gmail.com. Flick us an email. We'll organise for you guys to get out in the bush because it's really important, it's really fun. But there's heaps of opportunities here, at Eastern Field Link, but also through our schools. Some of the people that have come through our education programs through Eastern Field Link are now working for us in their holidays and things like that as trappers. So it's quite a cool opportunity if you do your time as a volunteer and learn. Then I've seen a bunch of people down south contracting now, young guys that have come through the program.
You've sent them down south?
Yeah, they're earning good money, doing helicopters every week, jet boats, it's good fun. Heaps of hunting and fishing opportunities. And so that's a cool product of what we do, is just we grow young people and then we send you away to learn more that you can't learn here. And then hopefully you come back and bring that knowledge back.
Oh, always come home, eh?
It's important, eh?
Eesh, that sounds like a whole thing going on.
Just living the dream, eh?
That's another question we kind of think about, like, can rangatahi do the things we love to do and earn a living from it?
I think, generations past, we did a job. Now I think, and this is probably getting a little bit deep and a little bit experimental, but in my opinion, it's about finding someone to pay you to do you, which is really interesting. And that's what I've found with Sam the Trapman as an entity, is that I'm doing a job for New Zealand Land Care Trust, but they give me such a wide scope that they're really just paying me to do the things that I see as important for our region and our people.
Wow.
And so I think that's the same in all of these spaces. If you're good enough at what you do, like you as a presenter, there's an opportunity for people just to pay you to do what you do. And that's the beauty of the social media space and marketing. If you understand a little bit about marketing and business, it's really easy to get paid to do what you love, paid to do you as a person. We're often, I don't think there's a space now where, I think people are starting to move away from the traditional job and career pathway, where we can find, if we're good enough at what we do,
passionate
about what we do, and we've got a point of difference, no one else is doing it, and we can communicate the value of it, someone's going to end up paying you to do exactly what it is that you care about.
Me. Oh yeah, that's awesome news for rangatahi especially.
Got to have the nous to go out there and get it, and communicate your value, and communicate your point of difference. Because if you don't, no one's going to notice. But if you can market yourself like that, the world's your oyster, eh? That's really exciting.
Wow. Mean, bro. Well, it was very nice to chat with you, bro, and have you in the studio. Any last words, anything you want to say before we close?
No, just a massive mihi to you guys here at Rāngai. Think what you guys are doing here is really leading the way, and I appreciate those that have set this up for the youth in Tairāwhiti. Like, we need more programs like this here for Tairāwhiti, because we often get forgotten about, and we've got some incredible talent locally.
Bro, we do. We got heaps.
So yeah, massive mihi to what you guys are doing. I have a lot of respect for it, so I appreciate you having me on.
Bro. And likewise, brother, the taiao, so important. Like, we don't know how important it is until it's like flooding our streets. Like,
Or it's just too late.
Or it's too late.
That's right. It's the backbone of our lives.
Hard,
you know.
And there's so much so much knowledge and maramataka that we can learn from there.
That's
like
right.
Chewing gum, like natural chewing gum, like, and also all the kai as well, like in the bush. So
Yeah, just some things in the bush I didn't know they were edible.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, and really good for your tinana as well.
100%.
So yeah, bro, thanks for coming in. If anybody wants to get involved with the mahi, the bro does, those contacts that he mentioned, and we'll run his in the graphics as well. And in the description below, Sam the Trap Man everywhere. Ngā mihi nui, brother, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming in and sharing your kaupapa with us.
Yeah, man, awesome.
No worries. Appreciate it.
Well good.
Tukuna te wairua kia rere ki ngā taumata, kia arahi i a mātou mahi. Me tā mātou whai i ngā tikanga a rātou mā. Kia mau, kia ita, kia korea e ngaro. Kia pupuri, kia whakamaua, kia tīnā, tīnā. Haumie, hui e, tāai ki e.